Blog Talk Radio.
Here at ACO Radio, American Communications Online, or any affiliated stations or websites are not responsible for what guest hosts or call-ins may say. All programming is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only.
Hello, world. Welcome to our Spiritual Science Sunday with Theresa J Morris Ministries on TJ Morris ET Radio, brought to you by American Communications Online. And we will be doing our love and light, spiritual, not religious topics for the raising and awakening, conscious choices, critical thinking, logic, common sense with our soul, while we're sharing time and place and space. So we take a spiritual science cosmology type view, but we'll share with you our way of being and hope that it agrees with you and what you do. So hopefully you can feel like you got a blessing today in some type of reality that we all create. They say we all create our own reality, but we share sentient intelligent beings as one species because we're all in this three-dimensional level or realm or domain. You'll hear we're three-dimensional beings. So we're going to share cosmology, phenomenology, and whole brain thinking, and how to know inner self and outer world perceptions, that which we have is on the inner world, and many people don't get to that until they learn how to meditate or to find their inner thoughts, or we say we're walking around in a monkey suit or a meat suit, so to speak, but we're really higher souls. And the awakening in the Ascension Age is all about recognizing what we mean by ascension and what is all the talk to discuss on how we're comparing our own world views as a global culture, and yet each culture, I'm hearing a lot of our friends in Pennsylvania, Dutch-speaking groups, saying that their culture and their world religion is not the same, but they call themselves Christians. But at the same time, they don't really like all the ways that culture has told them, or the church elders have told them what to wear and how to wear it. And it's all types of different groups out there. And a lot of the world churches, we're finding out, are through the Masons, or especially in America, and the founders of America. And, you know, we're trying to do our best to recognize what is real, and the world's changing constantly. So we have faith in humanoids as souls first. So we're more soul-oriented in our thoughts today, at least on this show. So Spiritual Science Sundays, Ascension Church Ohana. My daughter has passed, but she really helped me with the ACO and Ascension Church Ohana. Plus did Tommy Hawksblood of Hawaii. He came on to help do an actual event back in 2012, and he stayed. He helped me run the ACO, or Ascension Center Oracles, or Ascension Church Organization, or Ascension Center Organization. And we all signed up under Universal Life Ministry. They just have a good business model for ministers, so we can say that we can have a way to be bona fide in California, at least, out of the Modesto Church to marry people, and I've actually married a couple. But we're all about the body, mind, spirit, cosmos connection. Now, we share various views, but Tommy has always been good about knowing dimensions and realms in the universe, and we put those nowadays with the kids today, and there's a lot of people talking about Ascension, David Wilcock, Corey Good, Emery Smith, and Gaia TV, and a lot of you probably follow that and believe in the path or that you're on your spiritual journey. So there's Conscious Life Expo and all types of events out there. But our future begins when we observe our inner and outer realms, knowing that we're conscious. So I guess all of us know that conscious and consciousness is really not just trending, it's what we've always been about, but we're also learning that our reality, through many people, including Greg Braden, I'd recommend you catch him, Greg Braden. He has some good thoughts on transhumanism and what we're doing with the CRISPR and the genes and changing and using AI. And we're going into the future, folks, where we're probably going to have to think about the reality that we're not just humanoid biologicals. And we've already got people in China marrying, or Japan, I think it is, their partner that is a female robot, a male married his AI partner. And so things are getting a little strange for us that were born in the 50s and 60s and 70s and the 80s even. But we went through the Michael Jackson era, and he put out We Are the World, and I was listening to that in the Navy. So our future begins while we observe who we are now as individuals. But we're going to discuss your individual self coming down to this planet and finding out who you are and why you're here and what you're doing before you leave the planet. And we call the Bible, Bible, the basic instruction before leaving Earth that a lot of our people back in the days pulled together for us, and we use the King James Version if anybody cares. But, you know, after that we have a lot of the Ascension Masters, and we follow that information too. And a lot of people that do our future and are observing the Merkaba, or the light beings that come and go, and how we can discuss that may be us in the future after we pass on and leave this planet. So there's a whole lot of things that we can discuss. We're all on our own path, on our own spiritual journey. So our future begins with the now, and we do one day at a time. And we're not smokers or drinkers, and we don't do drugs. Now, I'm not saying that pot, I guess, marijuana, cannabis is bad because we're legalizing it now here in America, but I was raised, and things change. Things actually change in the guidelines and the borders of chaos. So, you know, that's really done a number on me because we've realized a lot of this is programming, but it was programmed between our educational system, our religious system, and it was supposed to be that the government was separate from our churches. However, all the people that started this country were very religious, and they were also Masons, and we're learning now that those that run a lot of what we did with the churches and the state and the educational system all work together, and so we're okay with where we've been, and we just hope that we can all be a part of the future. And, you know, you are making your heaven on earth. Whatever you think, you make yourself a better person on the inside and make the world a little better place for you, me, our children, and the entire human race. That's what we're all about here. And we're just using a business platform for Theresa J Morris Ministries, and I do have my license here, my business permit. And we're on Blog Talk Radio that goes to New York. And we're going to get started here and talk with, there's a couple of people online. Let's see, there's me. And I'm going to mute on this line and go to my cell phone. And I'm going to turn Tommy Hawksblood on here. And there's an 856 New Jersey, Tommy 429. I don't know if that's your person or not. Tommy, go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll find out who called in from New Jersey. Maybe one of your people. Okay, I'll mute.
Greetings, everyone. Tommy here. Tommy Hawksblood. I'd like to start off. Everything that I talk about, everything that I say is based on my actual truth, nobody else's. What I have experienced in this lifetime and many of my other lifetimes. I'm not one for plagiarizing other people's words and stories. I don't like to tell lies. I don't tell lies. I don't tell stories. Everything I talk and say is experiences that I had in this lifetime, most of them that I talk about, because the ones I have in Atlantis, people don't want to hear much about Atlantis anymore. But I can go on about a lot of different things. I can talk about any topic pertaining to spirit, death, life, reincarnation, rebirth, the higher planes, lower planes. But the one thing I want to start off with that we need to realize today, we all have our viewpoints and ideas and beliefs, and they're different. How many of them have the truth? How many of them don't? That's up in the air. Everybody says their truth, and very few people can even explain what their truth is. And I will try to give you mine over the next period of time. I have 5 books out. My one book is not published. It's a PDF file, and I'll send it to anybody that's interested in seeing UFOs. But my most important book is True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization. And it's not, quote, a religious book, anything but. But I will ask you, as we go into the show today, I'd like you to think about what the word spiritual means to you. I know most people cannot say what it means or have a clue what it means, other than, oh, I'm a good person or I do good things, based on a program idea of what you were programmed to believe is good and bad, because we have to live under the laws of the government and how they perceive us and how they work with us, because right now we're going through major disasters. I don't know if TJ wants to go into it at all. We'll decide as we move along during the show. But what's happening right now is so contradictory to every aspect of being spiritual, being aware, or rising in consciousness. The word consciousness, I hope you understand what it means. And there's different viewpoints on that, different way people look at it, the way different people teach about it. But I will say this, there's many people out there teaching about things they have no clue to teach about. And you could hold me accountable. I guess we're all accountable about what we say. I know that there's a couple workshops going on. Corey Good is doing one on Ascension. David Wilcox is doing one on the rainbow body, which he has no right to do. I mean, these people are talking about things, not like you get a certification, but when you go on a wording that comes from a specific path or a belief system, you really have no right changing it or making it fit into your reality. If you're talking about religion, you're talking about Jesus, you're not going to be talking about anything other than that. If you're talking about the Pope, if you're talking about the Dalai Lama, that's who you're talking about. You can't change it to fit in your own idea or your viewpoint and make it yours, because it's not. They are teachers. I consider myself a teacher. Everybody says you're a student and a teacher. Well, you can be a student and a teacher, but I'm a teacher. A student means you're going to learn something. I wish I could learn something from somebody I hear or talk to, which I haven't over a period of time. The only thing that I get is when I allow myself to go inside and listen to spirit. So, and then we can go into those words, because spirit and soul are different. Ascension and ascending are different. All the words are created by man in a lot of ways and given a definition by a man who probably never experienced it when he wrote the definition of it. So, or what he had, that he called it that, and it really relates to something else. So with that being said, I don't know, TJ, how long you want me to go for before you talk, but I'll give it back to you if you want it.
All right. Well, yeah, we have a lot of different meanings in a lot of the different world cultures, tribes, religions, and as ministers, and you and I signed up with Universal Life, and they talk about that as an internet ministry where you can get marry people is the main thing. But I do know that CFI recognizes and heard today the attorney say it's a good business model for ministers, internet, online, and there's rules to follow, and spiritual groups or the community that I'm doing my best for 8 years to file is because I was part of the Ascension in Hawaii, and other people helped me pull it together. And before that, in the 70s and 80s, we were doing a lot of spiritual work, and I was with some groups and attorneys, and we formed something the kids today don't understand. That sorry, Coco, my puppy Coco's barking at the little kitty. Got a tiny little kitten that came into my life. Not sure why, but things manifest. And oh goodness, Tommy, I'm gonna hand it back to you. Okay, you just help.
Right.
I want to do dimensions and realms. Okay.
All right. All right. We're going to start simple because many people probably are just starting on their awareness point in their life. I don't care if you were following a religion or a way or things, but mankind's only starting to change his view and becoming a little more aware of certain things while they lose connection with a lot more important things like morals. You can't move forward spiritually